world and real world today. Big things today for Meets in Midgard. This is the first time I have a guest in the room with me. One of my best friends to have here, John Sturtevant. And Sturtevant, I don't know why I struggle with it. Sturtevant.
It's a tongue twister.
Sturtevant.
It took me a long time to learn how to say it.
I always fumble with your name. John, I remember.
Yeah, that's easy.
Behind the scenes, we have John's beautiful wife, Barbara, who is going to be helping us today. Big things today. We've got Vikings, Sasquatch, and Vinland that we'll be discussing. We will be right back with you after this awesome song that my good friend Sanford Kaufman put together for me. Hang tight, guys.
On the west coast of Skrelling's land, in the city of the trees, a heathen man heard the call of gods whispering in the breeze. He reached out to a selected few, those who knew the lore, to those who could see beyond the veil and saw the world tree's core. As the old gods arise anew, foes are many, friends are few. Gather round and join together. Let us learn from one another. Meets in Midgard, what do they have to say? Meets in Midgard, where you're gathering today. Meets in Midgard, hear the wisdom of the Lord. Meets in Midgard, promise you it'll be no bore. We speak of modern applications to the ancient ways of how to apply the High One's words in this present day. Not only Odin's wisdom, but Loki's cunning wit, and how no matter who you are no misfit. So whether you are near, or whether you are far, whether you are just beginning, or have been on this path and winning, you are welcome to join us here, and you don't need to fear. And even comb his hair. As the old gods arise anew, foes are many, friends are few. Gather round and join together. Let us learn from one another. Meets in Midgard, what do they have to say? Meets in Midgard, we are gathering today. Meets in Midgard, hear the wisdom of the Lord. Meets in Midgard, promise you it'll be no bore.
And we're back.
Yes. It's a good song.
That was a good song. Thank you, Sanford, for that song. That's pretty awesome. So we have a lot to cover today.
Yes, this might be a 2-episode subject.
I think this is going to be a 2-parter because it's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to cover. But first, John, let's just take a moment, get to know you. People know me.
Yeah?
I'm kidding, they don't. I'm kidding. No,
Do
but
we really know you, man? Is that your real name?
Funny story. Okay. Yeah, so you are Norse heathen, paranormal, and a paranormal investigator, everything cryptid. You are an embodiment of Sasquatch himself.
Yeah. Spirit animal, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been like practicing heathenry for over 15 years, and I've been interested in like the paranormal since I was like, I don't know, like ever. I remember watching like the old reruns of In Search of, and then like Unsolved Mysteries, and then Sightings. And then I just started like reading, you know, like I'd go to the library and read the old Time Life books, the Mysteries of the Unknown. And I started reading, and just like more and more I would read. I'd watch like the shows like Sightings, where they would go to like paranormal researchers. I'm like, oh, you can actually research this stuff. Interesting. Cool. I want to do that when I get older. And then when I was like 21, 22, I had this like big library of books on haunted locations and cryptids and different paranormal theories and UFO sightings, and I'm like, why can't I go and do this? And so I started like, how do you investigate the paranormal? And then I started doing that, and I've been doing that for, I don't know, long time.
Long time.
Lots of time. It's not something that you can get rich on. You can actually, spend a lot of money buying some of the fancy, fun tools there, because
all the fun stuff.
Yeah,
you have a lot of equipment.
I have a lot of equipment. I have a lot of equipment, and I like to try and get equipment that I can use for, I can use it ghost hunting, but I can also use it looking for Bigfoot or the Mothman or the Wendigo or a Dogman, or like, oh, what about UFOs? Because,
Nice.
So
lots of things.
Yeah.
Lots of things. I'm going to take off this graphic really quick here,
Okay.
because I want people to see your shirt.
Bigfoot.
It's Sasquatch on Sasquatch. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
For being with me here today,
You're welcome.
sharing Frith and joining me. This very, very special episode. Meets in Midgard, Vikings, Sasquatch in Vinland. I should have said Vikings, Vinland, and Sasquatch. So it goes like but
Yeah.
I didn't. So
It's okay.
Really quickly, I just want to say as well, we have started a kindred together.
Yes.
John, Barbara, myself, Igladir Kindred. We've got some things coming up here. We have a rune study that we're doing, that we're starting a 5-part series. The artwork that you see on this is from Saga Eriksson, a good friend of mine. She sells her prints as well. But we are introducing the rune. We're not introducing. The runes have existed, but the class is an introduction to the runes.
Or do you want to like make up our own set, and then we can create a whole new like lore?
We're going to make our own. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Copyright it. Awesome.
It'll be 185 characters. I'm kidding. That's not. I don't have the
And
capacity
if you
for that.
want one rune, it will be $19.95
1995
per rune.
Order today.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. On top of our kindred and our meeting up at Mystical Celtic Heart on October 18th, we are also starting a book club. This is the Morrigan. It's Pagan Portals. Jessica Meredith had a great suggestion of like, people are busy, blah, blah, blah. Let's get something we can all read. And she and Barbara found this series of Pagan Portals. And these are short books. Good for a book club. It's going to be hybrid. We're going to meet in person. And it'll also be streaming in a private chat for people in the kindred as well. We have our nature walk tomorrow, but we'll be doing some cleanup as well along our walk. So we are building Frith, honoring the land Vitter, and that's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Tons of fun.
Might be a little drizzly. I like it.
Might be. It's going to be a perfect morning for a walk.
Yeah.
And that's from 8 to 10. And I will post the details on that. And then we have the suicide prevention walk. And that is October 25th.
Yes.
I won't be able to go, unfortunately, but I'll be in San Francisco to see Garbage.
Nice.
My all-time favorite band, I know. But I do. Now that the kindred's up and going and everything, a part of me is like really wanting to be on that walk with you guys. Mm, but can't do all things.
Oh yeah, that's all
But
good.
which is one of the things I love about our kindred is like we're kind of spreading it out so that if you can make it, cool. If
Yeah.
not, whatever kind of a deal. Love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are things coming up
Mhm.
for October. But let's go ahead and just dive right in. Now let's pick this brain of yours,
Okay.
John. Okay. So what first drew you to overlap between Norse exploration and the paranormal?
I started like seeing it's like in the creation myth of the myths is it's the culture, how they are explaining things. If you look away, if you strip away the symbolism, a lot of it is like I started seeing like, whoa, that actually is like how like the Big Bang theory and how the cosmos, if you look at science, it's basically their understanding trying to explain the science of the universe. And then through that, I started looking at like, okay, when like say a storm would go through and like wreck a village and a settlement, is they didn't like, oh, the gods are mad. They're like, collateral damage from Thor fighting the storm giants. And then I'm like, well, storm giants, okay, elementals. That's a thing that you see across cultures. And then, just kind of like looking at like there are natural spirits or beings that have names in these different cultures in Norse heathenry and across the world. And then like in paranormal is you read about like human entities, which is like a person who's died. But then you have inhuman entities, which our society looks at through a religious lens of like, oh, it's either an angel or a demon, and it's either one or the other. But then you have these cases where it's like something that's like not necessarily benevolent, but not necessarily malevolent. It's kind of like this other.
Right.
Which that kind of to me is like, well, that fits into like the land whites, the land veneer, the trolls, for example, because trolls are in Norse culture, they're like this metaphysical supernatural being, but then they're also a physical thing that will go and eat you and lives under a bridge, Billy Goat
Right.
Scruff. Which that started, like interest in like the whole Sasquatch thing. Because how, like, when you're looking at the lore and they're talking about a troll, not the supernatural aspects of it, but the description of like, well, that's like a Sasquatch or a Yeti or name said bipedal wild man primate in human history, whatever, because like you see it all across the globe.
Right.
They just have different names for them. You see that. I'm like, that may be their explanation for that.
One thing he said
Yes.
is that I think was really cool was talking about how early religion was describing the world, how the world operates around them, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And like I think like early religions really was that science at that time.
Yeah.
It's like this is how we believe things to work.
Yeah.
And I think you said it before, and of course, when heathenry, it's like the more you learn, the more you apply.
Yeah.
Like obviously, the world's not round anymore,
Yeah.
or not flat. It is round. The world is round, people.
It is.
So you apply the principles and knowledge. So that's a really good point.
Yeah.
I love hearing it. So when we talk about Leif Erikson and Vinland, how much of that story do you think is historical fact, and how much is mythic reconstruction?
Like percentage wise,
Because I mean, the Norse are great at telling sagas, and there's some embellishments with those sagas.
well, I mean, you always everyone embellishes, talk to any fisherman about the biggest fish they caught, and it's going to be like this embellished epic battle, like, hey, they battled for days to catch this fish, and it was bigger than my boat. And, but it really is like, it was a pike that was like,
Yeah.
18 inches.
Yeah.
But I mean, humans, we embellish stories to make it more interesting, because if it's just like the facts of like, we went here and we saw these people and there was trees and then there's a big scary thing and then we got on the boat and we ran away. Kind of boring story.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
You wouldn't.
I just tuned out when you said that.
Yeah. You wouldn't pick up that novel.
Right.
So there's embellishment, but if you look at the embellishment and then look at like the area around you can kind of like, well, there were people who did inhabit this area.
Mm-hmm.
And there is lore in that culture of wild people being in that region.
Absolutely.
And like the one that I'm, there's the Sasquatch encounter, but it's like, I forget, it's like the one-legged hopper.
Yeah.
Like the description, I'm like, what in the hell is that?
What could that be? Yeah.
Because it's like hops on one leg and it like is deadly accurate with like arrows. But it's like an island full of them.
Yeah. It's not like it's one person just.
Yeah, it's not like a dude who's like, I lost my leg, but I'm a really good archer. It's like, because they're not talking, because when they encountered native people to America, they're like, we encountered these people and they had names for them, but it was like, this is this tribe of people.
Right.
And then there's these other weird creatures.
Yeah.
Like, they knew what a bear was. They knew what elk are and deer and, because you see that in Europe. But then they're encountering these other things that are just like, what is that?
Just so you guys know, my oven is making a really weird noise right now. I don't know why.
Sure, it's your oven.
We're going to have lasagna after this. So, and I have practiced this word. Probably, I practiced your last name too.
I gave up trying to say most of the Norse words, how like they're probably, because I'm just going to butcher. I will put marbles in my mouth and just say the name, and then it might be more accurate.
So, my friend Sanford, I'm gonna have to introduce you guys to each other. But he's a scholar at these things. Like he knows all the pronunciation. So I'm sure he will, when he watches this back later, he will tell me what I'm trying to say. The sagas mention Skrælingjar.
Mm-hmm.
Skrælingjar. Okay, which I think it was the description of the indigenous people there. So do you think these were straightforward descriptions of indigenous people, or could there be an element of mythic or other at play?
Well, they're...
Can you slam the door shut? The top one. Sorry about that, guys. No, my oven is really making a noise. I hope you guys can't hear it real well.
Because like when you look through the sagas of the Icelanders, which has the Vinland sagas in it,
Mm-hmm.
it has descriptions of like the people, and it's kind of like the description of like, there's these people, we're calling them this, and it goes on to descriptions because they're wearing skins and this, that, and the next thing. And then, so they may a lot of like until there was like the one-on-one like conflict. Most of the time, it's like I'm seeing them from way over there, and nobody had binoculars.
Right. Yeah.
You know, they couldn't zoom in, so it was like unless it was right, you know, like within 10, 20 feet, it might not be something that they can see all the details of.
Plus, you're in a new landscape.
Yeah. You're like, I'm
It's like-
hyper vigilant. Like, I don't know what's going on. There's like trees, and I haven't seen these trees, and there's these bears, but they're different kind of bears. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like polar bears.
Yeah.
Polar bears. I'm not, those still today have no fear of man. So I'm pretty sure they did not give any rats about like chewing on some Norse or some natives. They don't care. Polar bears just don't care. Because they're like honey badger.
Because how fitting that tomorrow's Indigenous People Day, and we're talking about this because when the Norse landed, they landed in Canada.
Yeah, and
North
it was like Nova Scotia, which is like the uppermost part of Canada. So it's like in the Arctic Circle.
So you're seeing just different things.
Yeah.
Well, similar in some ways and different because it's a new landscape for them, you know, because they're used to the cold and all that. But
yeah,
it's like, how do you describe it? But, you know, you're coming across this, you're a new person, and you're just trying to describe this.
Yeah.
What you know.
And yeah, you're trying to take something that you know in your frame of reference and use that to describe what you're seeing and trying to find like a similarity. Like it's kind of like this, but different.
Yeah. You know, it'd be like an ancient warrior describing a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, was a giant flying insect beast.
There's a big bug and its wings and there's like this wind that blew down and it had glowing eyes on its arms. I don't understand. And I think it was eating people. It's a helicopter.
Yeah. So why do you think the forests of Vinland captured so much imagination, not just for the Vikings, but for centuries afterwards, even with us?
Well, I mean, the forest in the human psyche, in myth, the forest has always kind of like symbolized mystery. And if you look at like inner guard and outer guard, like the inner guard is your village, your community, and the outer guard is beyond that. And that's like the unknown. And the unknown is not necessarily like it's not like, oh, the unknown's evil and scary and it's dangerous. It's that unknown is like you can go out in the forest to collect wood and just never be seen again. Or you can go out and collect wood and nothing happens. You collect wood and you come back.
Right.
And so it's like that mystery and danger of like, you don't know if you go to like the next village, you may not ever be seen again. That was the Alps. They found the Iceman. There's this dude. He was hunting. He was just trying to go over this mountain, going to like next village, and I think he slipped, fell, hit his head, and then his body was like entombed in a glacier for, over 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And now we're using him to like learn about his culture.
Something that you said, like the forest is mysteries and stuff. I think that's translates well, like even with today. I think like it's even evolved. Like it still has that mystery, but like in modern times, for us, it would be, to get away and unwind and reconnect. And when you're doing that, it's like that's like magic, earth magic. You're feeling it, and there's mystery in that as well.
And like on the flip side, I'm a big horror movie buff. How many horror movies are set The big monster is in the forest. Like, we're going to go camping and have a great time. And then now we're all being eaten or murdered by a serial killer or fill in the blank thing that's consuming us. But then you have, like, you know, the other side of the coin where you have, like, you know, go and you find this magical creature and you go on this wonderful adventure and changes your life. So the forest has always been kind of like this, like, symbolically, it's like a gateway to the unknown, to the other, to, you know, like the Fae or wherever, you know. There's a lot of, you know, you get the fairy circles, which, like the ring of mushrooms.
Yeah.
You get those in the forest. You also have, like, oh, there's this hole in a tree that you can climb down and it goes to this other realm. That's like one of the early meditations that I learned on, like, grounding yourself and contacting the other side, like having those vision quest type things. Probably different word, but is like you're walking through a forest, and further you go, it gets more overgrown and darker, just like less light. And then you find a kind of a hole in a tree that you can climb through, and you go journey to the underworld through that.
Some Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
You know? No, but that's just, like, so true. Like, and it's something that is just translated well, like, you know, through time.
Well, it was like going through the forest when
She has a comment to share.
when going through, like, walking through the forest that hasn't been cut. It's like you can feel that energy, but then when you go through the forest where, like, the logging crew has gone through, and it's just it loses its magic. It's like energy's squished.
We have a comment. I can't see it on here, though.
It says, let's not forget our ancestors weren't physically damaged. They had an intimate connection to the organism we are a part of. The forest has its own guardians, and the nervous system of Joro, aka the mycelium network, is very powerful there. That's from Ayla.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hopefully I said her name right.
Yes, Ayla.
Very true.
Thank you, Ayla. That was such a good observation. Yes. Just so much packed into that tiny comment, but yeah. Absolutely.
Because we as a society have been, like, removed so much from, like, the natural cycles of the earth and of nature and of the seasons that we kind of don't have that deeper connection. So yeah, she's very, very correct in that.
Not physically, psychically, she said.
No, psychically. Yeah.
That too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know why I am just like, I'm gonna drink all this water all the time.
Do we make you nervous?
So I'm sure everyone by now knows that, like, I just messed up my back, and so the medication I'm on always gives me cotton mouth. So I'm like, I've been drinking water like crazy. So imagine yourself in Leaf's crew, and you're standing on that unfamiliar shore. What kind of supernatural presence do you think that you yourself personally would have felt?
I think it would have been, like, I would have kind of, like, not necessarily hostile, but unfamiliar, like an unfamiliar land energy. Because first time setting foot in an area you've never been in, there's always that unfamiliar. It's kind of like, you know, you're trying to feel its energy, you're trying to feel your energy. And then on the ancestral aspect of, there are no bones of my ancestors on this land. So this is like kind of alien territory for me. And so there'd be kind of that, like, almost like landing on a different planet. In a sense, they're landing on a different planet
Yeah.
because it's a whole nother world. It's a whole new world. I had to do it. Couldn't help myself. Just popped in my head. But if you think about their journeys, because they're basically going along the Arctic Circle, and so there's a lot of fog, and so they're going through this mist, and then there's this all of a sudden this land that they didn't even know existed, and so it's like they may have thought that they're like in a completely different realm. Like, is this where the Vanir are, or are we?
Yeah.
Have we gone into Helheim?
I
You
know,
know,
right?
it's like they could have like, where the hell are we?
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of like, I don't know, probably a bit like the astronauts when they landed on the moon. First, Neil Armstrong, he's like,
Oh my
first step
gosh,
for
yeah.
man. Like, because it's pretty much that tech level what they did. They
Right.
went to the moon
and
found people.
and other things
Yeah.
there as well. So, and also like when you think about like Norse heathens, how much the faith was built around their immediate surroundings. The elements, the lore comes for the frost giants and everything else. And now you're in a place where there is no lore that personally.
Yeah.
It's like strange, and I can only imagine.
Like, yeah, because you where you are, where you live, you have your settlement, you farm, you build a relationship with the lore, with the land spirits, with your ancestors, and with the energies there. And then you go to some other place, like you are on a different realm.
Mhm.
And so it's like this completely alien, like you need to like, I need to make some offerings and make sure these land spirits just don't like make us die or
Right.
eat us. Like these trees,
Right.
could they eat us? I don't know.
Yeah.
They might, maybe not.
I do want to clarify that lore existed there from the indigenous people. I don't want to say that there wasn't any lore, but
yeah, the Norse didn't know that lore.
Right. The Norse did not know that lore. They weren't familiar with the Landbitter, the
Yeah.
whites, the spirits there. So, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's just like I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine. So that'd be a pretty epic thing to do. So modern folklore loves to merge Norse exploration with Sasquatch sightings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so why do you think humans keep telling wild man stories, from Norse Skogsmen to modern Bigfoot? What is it about?
Because there's if you look at the history of like cryptozoology, which is like the study of looking for hidden creatures, you'll see like there is medieval references to wild man. There's early references across the globe of wild men, and it's how like some of it is like, well, it's just this hermit dude who lived out in the woods and he kind of went a little feral. And people think that that explains all of them, but like there's other ones that it's not a person that's just kind of lost touch with civilization. It's entire race of beings that are humanoid.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you look at in the Southwest, I do not remember the actual tribe, but there's lore of them having a like war with a race of like stone people.
Oh wow!
which the description is, if you look at the description, is like, oh, they're talking about Sasquatch.
Mm.
But the reason why they stone people is because, like, when you hit them with arrows, it didn't quite go through.
Right.
And so they had to, like, trick them into going into this cave and then seal the cave off, light a bunch of fire to basically suffocate all these creatures.
Wow.
There's lore like that on top of, like, you get the wild man lore and it's this one creature, but then you have these other lore in human history of, like, entire races of these beings, which is more than just a hermit who lives in the woods, which is what a lot of mainstream science likes to do, explain the, for the wild man. It's just people who just were a little feral, who lived in the woods in a little bark shack and just didn't know how to be around people. Had a beard really long.
You guys have a couple of comments.
Yes.
We got a couple comments we're going to tune in here.
On the last question, Ayla said, makes you wonder if that's why women traveled with them.
Yeah.
And then Sanford said, the Vikings didn't explore the Viking Circle. Note also, by the time Vikings reached Skrelling's land,
Mm-hmm.
most were Christian. Hence the derogatory term Skrellinger, which literally means barbarian.
Sanford knows a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He's well versed in a lot of things. So. Cool. Yeah. So just so you guys know, normally I could see the comments, but ever since I started doing YouTube live as well, I'm not able to see the comments on the platform I'm using. So hopefully they fix that soon. So Barbara's behind the scene reading comments. So don't worry, we will get to your comments. I can't see them, but yeah. So yeah, and like Sasquatch is Bigfoot. It's probably one of the most popular and enduring cryptids of all time, I would think.
Yeah. Well, because the term Bigfoot for that creature came about in 1956, and the Humboldt County Jerry Crews, which they were building a road around Willow Creek highway, and they found big feet. That's what the media named it, is because he made these casts of the footprints he found. And that's where, like, the term Bigfoot came from. And Sasquatch is it's an anglicized twist on a native tribe in British Columbia, what they called the creatures. Like, there's an anthropologist dude who's like, I want to study the lore, and that's where Sasquatch came from. Is it's a anglicized version of that.
Okay.
That tribe's name for that wood creature. So
the next time we do this, I'm gonna have to get a separate microphone and hook it up over there so Barbara can talk in the microphone.
They can hear me.
Can you hear Barbara? Please
hear
answer
Barbara?
in comments.
Barbara, it's like, I want to be involved, but don't involve me. Just kidding.
You know me so well. Did you want to be singing?
Yeah, so definitely that's Bigfoot. You're talking about an all-time classic right there, compared to a lot of other cryptids. So.
Yeah.
So, in your paranormal experience, have you ever felt that cryptid lore and spirit lore might overlap? That what some call creatures might actually be spiritual entities?
Yes.
Ooh.
There are sightings with Sasquatch, for example, that They're like, it's a flesh and blood creature, and it's even like a flesh and blood creature. And then there's other sightings where it's like people are tracking it through the snow, like following its tracks, and then it goes into this clearing, and the tracks go, and then they just stop.
Mm.
It's like it just blipped out. There have actually been cases where people have seen them and just seen them like vanish.
Wow.
There's getting into the UFOs. There are actual cases where people have seen like UFOs dropping off Bigfoot, and like the UFOs when you go into that wormhole. There's a lot of evidence and sightings, and that like they're not like nuts and bolts UFOs, and they don't come from another planet. They come from another plane. Like there's
another dimension.
Yeah, like
because we live in 3 dimensions.
Yeah.
Well,
4 dimension with time.
Yeah.
I guess, but like there's a lot of overlap when you look at UFOs and the UFO abduction, and like, you know, Gray's just kind of like phasing through a wall, and like everything, time freezes, they abduct you, do whatever the hell they're going to do, put you back, and like you're phasing through your roof and you're back in your bed, and then everything starts back, and it's like, oh, it's been 2 minutes, but really to you it's been a nightmarish hell world for the last hour.
Yeah. Or days.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, there is overlap when you look at like the Fae lore and UFO lore. And when you look at the cryptids, there's overlap with that into that metaphysical stuff. You know, like Guardians of the Woods. There's a really cool movie, if you like horror movies, it's called Lost Coast Tapes, and it is about Bigfoot and UFOs, but it's really interesting twist at the end. Watch it.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah.
Barbara, do we have a comment?
We do. Ayla said, I think majority of the cryptids are land vatir. I think most authentic crop circles are caused by Sidhe, Sidhe, and vatir being angry about how the earth is being forced to produce and the chemicals being used.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wholeheartedly agree with that. Another thing, and this is another rabbit hole we could go down, because we're talking about entities that overlap. You know, we're talking about land vatir and whites in Norse, you know, heathenry, and then you have like the jinn and that, and like, so jinn could be several things, just different names.
Yeah,
and that's like a physical and spiritual existence, right?
Yeah, because the jinn to me is the name a culture gives what is referred to as the other, because it's not human, it's something else. Because like humans, we have spirit, we have like a soul, so that aspect. But then the other is something that hasn't been in this physical form, but it does exist, and it's existed for a long time.
It's liminal. It's in that in between.
Yeah,
that we
and
don't know.
like the jinn is like a cultural and religious name to explain that, because like if you look at the jinn, they could be nice, they could be not nice, they can also just not care, or they can make your life a living hell. Which then there's angels. Angels are great. Wouldn't really personally want to meet one if you've read the Bible. But then you have demons, which are like bad.
Right. Supposedly.
But then if you look at the origin of demon, that comes from Greek daemon, which is basically their term for spirit. That's not a person.
Right.
So Sanford said, one theory by a friend is that Sasquatch is one or more Jotner
Jotnar.
Jotnar,
Yeah.
which makes sense by Nordic
Mhm.
cosmology.
Yeah.
Per what John said of vanishing footprints,
Oh, yeah.
Jotnar are the denizens of the nascent realm, Jotunheim,
Jotunheim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and can move in both esoteric plane and the physical.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of where like heathenry and like my interest in the paranormal, when I started exploring heathenry more, where it really kind of like, oh, that makes sense. It's, things don't always have to be a physical or non-physical. They can switch. They can phase. When you look at like quantum mechanics and quantum theories, like if you ran into a wall an infinite amount of times, at some point your molecules and that wall's molecules are going to mesh where you will be able to phase through it.
Mm-hmm.
That is a thing.
Mm.
And so if you can control that, your being and your essence at that level, you can do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure if this is PG.
It's you.
Okay.
I have words I have used.
Yeah.
Loki himself would blush. I'm kidding.
But so like I've always felt that Bigfoot, like Sasquatch, could be, it's like a land spirit, Jotun. It could also be a form that something wants to manifest as just at that point, but at any other time they're like look like something else. It's like getting into the ghosts is like shadow people. People are like, oh, shadow people are evil.
Oh my
They're evil.
gosh. Yeah.
But I've had experiences with shadow people that were not negative. They were actually very positive. And I've always viewed like it's a form that something could manifest, not necessarily like all shadow people are this one thing. It's just
Right.
like, I'm going to wear this suit today because it's easy to manifest because I'm lazy.
Right.
It's like I'm wearing my pajamas today.
This person looks easy to wear.
Because it's easy. Instead of doing this elaborate makeup and colors, I'm just going to be black.
So Jay Van Willis would like to know if Sasquatch is interdimensional.
Oh.
Yeah, I think that there is a lot of evidence that Sasquatch would be an interdimensional, which would also fall in it's like the
Jotnar.
supernatural Jotnar, because Jotnars are basically the heathen like giants.
Right.
But it's a very
It's a broad brush.
it's a very broad, like, this is a mammal. A lot of different things fall under what a Jotnar is.
Yeah. But definitely, with elements and stuff that we can't comprehend this in our state now,
like our brains can't comprehend some of these things because it's like an ant is not going to understand why it's right next to a highway.
All right. Well, it's like, as we know the word, like eternity, means something forever. We know the word, we have a definition for it, but we can't experience it in this form.
They actually found that they think the human brain cannot actually comprehend like the true definition of eternity is forever.
Right.
Will Phillips says it's like how movie monsters can chase people and then disappear from view. They're stepping through the veil and reappearing behind them to mess with them just before they devour their victims.
That's so true. And
Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers, maybe.
I think so. But Will, I think you're onto something there too. I know there was like a hint of humor there, but I thought that was that's really a thing, so.
Well, and then like when you get into like looking at beings and how they manifest, it all depends on, because like if it's something negative, it's going to want to scare you.
Mm-hmm.
it wants you because that's going to give it that advantage, whatever it wants to do to you. If you're like freaking out, terrified, it's going to give it an advantage,
Right.
whatever it wants to do.
It's going to know
And
it's
so
gonna feed on it.
if they can manipulate what they manifest as, and if they can psychically, what's your biggest fear, and manifest as that, it's going to give them an advantage.
Like Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Basically.
Silent Hill. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is so crazy.
Yeah.
I every episode on this, I always say, I have to go back and rewatch this because there's things that I just want to jot down. But I can't jot down right now because I'm hosting an interview.
Sorry.
but that's something in my brain. One of those things where I'm like, oh God, I got to go back and ponder that. Barbara, thank you for the comments as well as they pop up. Hopefully we get that fixed. So if Vikings did encounter something like Sasquatch, I believe they did, but here we are. How many years later, we can't say that is a thing. My personal belief is that they did, but how might have they explained it through a heathen worldview? As Sanford said, as a Jotun, as a white, or a spirit of the wild.
Well, I mean, it depends on like what they witnessed. I mean, if they witnessed it like walking through the forest, you're like, oh, that might be a troll or a Jotun. Or if they watched it like walk through a tree, then they're like, oh, that might be a land spirit. So it all depends on like what they witness. If they like, I watched it just like eat this dude whole.
Yeah.
Then it's like, it's definitely a Jotun, and you just run away. Run away is totally cool tactic.
Sure. So I guess it's how it manifested to them. So yeah.
Because like if you're like, say you're, okay, the Patterson-Gimlin films, like the classic footage that everyone's probably seen, it's from the 60s of like, oh, this Sasquatch, and you see it walking across this dry creek bed and then goes in the water. If that's the kind of thing, you're like, oh, that's a Jotun. It's just, it's a thing. It's in the forest. It's probably fleshable-like creature. But then if it like, flew, then you're gonna like put it in a different category.
Yeah.
So
Mothman.
Yeah. Mothman.
Yeah. Barbara's wearing a Mothman shirt.
Like Mothman, that's a global thing.
Yeah, definitely. Oh man. So we briefly touched on this, but what role do you think fear plays in both the sagas and in modern paranormal encounters? Is it about survival, reference, or misunderstanding? How, when we're retelling these, or you're telling an encounter, a paranormal encounter about something, how much does fear play into it? How does it influence the story?
I think it would all depend on what the encounter is and how the person after the encounter was able to process. Because in modern times, you can have somebody who they experience just very kind of like mundane, run-of-the-mill ghosts. Like, oh, I hear footsteps and like my fridge door opens occasionally. And they're like, it's a fucking demon. Burn the house down, sage it. But then you have other people who are like, oh, well, maybe it's the former owner who passed away and they're just like, looking for a snack.
Right.
So a lot of that has like, where are they coming from, the person who's experiencing it and how they process it? Because if you are looking at everything supernatural as this negative monster that's going to eat you, it doesn't matter. It could be like a ghost tucking you in because you're cold, and you're going to perceive that it's like, it was trying to strangle me in my blanket.
So, but in your own experience, is it more of like because you've had a lot of experience with it, is it more like a place of reverence? Like,
I
respect your domain.
because I look at it as like I'm going into their domain. If I'm going to somebody's house that is experienced activity, I'm going to be reverent and I'm going to be respectful because I get to go home. They have to live there.
Right. Yeah.
And so I don't want to go and like be a jerk and like agitate whatever's there, or because they have to deal with it. And if it's like some place that like isn't a home, but if it's a business or historical site, it's like going to Gettysburg. I'm not going to go there and be a dick trying to get EVPs from like a bunch of soldiers who died over 100 years ago, horrible ways. Like, why aren't you answering me? Come on, give me an EVP. Yeah. I try being reverent. The only time I'm like a little bit of an ass is if what's there is truly being negative.
Yeah.
Like if it's like this thing keeps scaring my kid and doing mean things. It's like, I'm like, why are you picking on a kid? Why are you being what's up, bro? Like that.
Pick on someone your own age.
Why didn't you come at me?
Yeah.
Like I was at Preston Castle with the group, and there's an area where it likes to, like, if you're a short person, because it was a boys' reformatory, it would pick on people who are similar to kids, not adults. And so I am not a small person. And so I went there and like, why aren't you messing with me? What? You chicken? Come on. I'm on these stairs. I'm sitting. Just push me down. Because previously in the same group, one of a friend of mine was coming down the stairs and they felt like somebody was pushing them.
Oh my gosh.
Trying to push them down the stairs. And this person is like 4'9".
That's like paranormal showgirls.
Yeah, it's like picking. It's like picking on a kid, and so I'm like, well, why don't you push me down? I'm not special. Come on, push me. Like that. That's the only time I don't have reverence is when dealing with that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like bullies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it does. When you first started, it's obviously you were curious, but was there a fear? Did your fear evolve into reverence kind of a deal, or?
I kind of like, I've only had 2 instances where I was like, there was fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, one of them was, I was at a cemetery, and I've been to the cemetery multiple times in the daytime. It's the first time being there at night, but it's not the first time being at a cemetery at night. But it's this one, and my friend and I, we were investigating, and we were kind of like, the cemetery is on a hill, and as we go further to the back corner, we kept getting this like something wanted us there. Was like luring us into that back corner, but it didn't have good intentions. And so both him and I were just kind of like, yeah, we need to go. Because it's like, it wasn't like, and I'm not trying to be like, oh, well, super much, but I approach ghost hunting this way. The worst thing a ghost can do is kill me.
I think that's pretty bad.
But here's the thing. Now we're on the same plane, and so it's going to have to fucking deal with me for time and all eternity, me fucking with it.
There you have it, folks.
So, Jay would like to know, are there different kind of shadow people, and do only certain people see them?
Shadow people. I think that there is a group of beings. I'm not sure if like race would be or a species. I think that there is a shadow people are like 2 parts for me. I think there are beings that is their form, and they can be malevolent. They can be just indifferent, kind of like they like to watch weird creepers. Yeah, because I think a lot of shadow experiences are like, It's just like it's a shadow form that's
Yes.
standing in the corner watching me sleep. That's creepy. It's creepy.
Or
Or getting dressed or whatever.
or people watching this and not commenting. I'm kidding.
But then the other thing is, I think, because if you think about manifesting, right? If you're going to like manifest so humans can see me, is if you're going to manifest like this and like, different colors, and here I have a beard and a hat and glasses, and you can see the texture of my shirt, and all, that's going to be a lot of energy that you have to like tweak and manipulate to, I'm just saying tweak and manipulate because I'm guessing at how that works.
Yeah.
But that's going to take a lot of energy to manifest that. But if you don't have a lot of energy to manifest, doing a shadow, which is basically a human silhouette that's black, it's pretty easy because it's kind of like you're not making anything. You're just kind of like removing what's visible in that spot. And that's where you're at. And so that's kind of how I look at shadow people. Is it like, what vibe am I getting off of them? Because some of them I think are just like, it's just an easy, low effort way of manifesting in your peripheral. Because a lot of times shadow people are seen in your peripheral.
I personally I've never come across a malevolent shadow person so far. All the ones I've encountered have been observers.
Like usually the malevolent ones, like there's actually a couple documentaries and books on the Hat Man, which I don't think is a one individual. Like there's not one dude walking around with a hat visiting, terrifying all these people.
Right.
I think it's a group, because there are times like some of them are wild. Like there's the hat that it wears varies. Like some of them are wearing an Abraham Lincoln hat, and the other one's like it's this weird broad brim farmer hat, and then
powder wig.
Yeah, well, like maybe, but like other ones see it wearing like a fedora, and so I think like those usually, like when people see those usually are like a negative one, and it's like they feed on that fear. Because that fear gives them, it's kind of like Monsters Inc. It feeds on, they need that energy of the scare, of the scream. If they only realize laughter can do that too. Maybe juggle.
Yeah.
The same.
So Isla says, in my experience, when people see shadows, it's because one of three things is happening. The person seeing hasn't developed their seeing skills yet. The spirit doesn't want to show you who they are. Or the shadow is what the person expects to see because of the influence of pop culture, paranormal TV shows, and movies.
Three very valid points. And I think the first one probably is the most common, that people just haven't developed that.
Well, and a little bit about the mechanics and science of the eye. The human eye is like where your pupil is right in front of you, where you're looking at. That's where you get all the detail. That's part of the eye's designed for that. The peripheral is we don't catch the detail, but it catches movement, because it's kind of like if something's moving in your peripheral, it alerts you to it. And so our eyes are actually more sensitive to catching movement in our peripheral than directly in front of us. And so that's one of the theories, is like we're seeing that peripheral, and so we can kind of like, that's why when you see it in the peripheral and then you look, it's not there, is because your eye is more sensitive to pick that up in your peripheral vision than in your straight.
And Jay wants to know, so ghosts can have residual. What about shadow figures? Can they also be residual?
Oh my gosh. It depends.
My mind went really dark.
Oh my gosh.
Because
we're going to skip this question.
I'll answer this question and I'll explain why my mind went dark.
Okay.
Is because there are like shadow people can be a residual. I think it can be a residual or a traditional, which is a conscious manifestation. And why my mind went dark is I was like, the shadow people of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, which
Oh my goodness.
is the blast people on ground zero. They were completely obliterated, but there were shadows of them etched on buildings and things. And it's like, imagine that creepiness and just of that energy still
Oh
wandering
my
around.
gosh.
That's why my brain went dark.
Your brain usually goes dark quickly on a lot
I'm-
of things.
I'm sorry.
I
I can't help it.
And then somebody else wants to know. So if Bigfoot, Sasquatch, however you word it, has been mentioned in the sagas, have shadow people been? Like, is there anything in the sagas about it?
So yeah, that's a good question. And yes, and but you're going to get that more. I don't know if the sagas really talk about that a lot, but that's going to be more like the um, culturally, like the word of mouth stories and oral tradition that they carry there. Probably.
I have not run across, but I haven't also delved super deep into all of the saga lore. But I haven't run across anything about shadow people, but I have came across other supernatural things and that are like there's one I was telling Mac about where it's this lady is seeing like her deceased husband and family members who are deceased in the evening when she goes into her house, and then she dies that night. And like that's a classic death vision of people who are like, because they don't say what she died from, so she may have been sick and being like kind of the veil is thinner because deathbed visions are when your ancestors, your family members come to help you transition over. And it like read him like that's one of those.
Yeah.
And there's like premonitions in the sagas. There's a lot of there. I picked up a book that I just started reading, and it's looking at how Norse culture and heathenry, how it viewed and the stories of ghosts and the revenant and the hungry spirits and all that, and how there's just categories of that. And as I read that, I will finish reading that, and we can possibly do a heathenry and paranormal.
Sanford says, seeing the tear has nothing to do with physical vision. It has to do with the convergence of the aspects of the spiritual and cognitive and physical within the self.
Mm-hmm.
This is the opening of the Managua and the Godar.
Mm-hmm.
Isla is high-level adept with inherent capacity in this area. Less prolific adepts need to train this capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, and he's right. There is a discipline, a training that goes with that. I think everyone's. Well, I don't want to say that. Yeah, I think okay. On a broad spectrum, everyone is inherent to seeing those things.
Yeah.
But as far as like bringing them to life and experiencing it, that's a developed training that you have to do.
Oh, and because I agree, I think that everyone is born with the seeds of those abilities, and then as we go through life, we are either like able to nurture and cultivate those, or we squash those seeds. And we live in a society like, no, that's not supernatural. That's just your kid has an imaginary friend. And so we're like taught at a very early age to squash all supernatural.
Yeah.
And anything that is psychic, we're taught, it just, we question is like, oh, we mock it and ridicule it. And so today we don't have those, where it's like it's nurtured at an early age.
And not to point fingers, but I think it's because that was a very Christian thing to do,
Yeah.
and Christianity just wiped out so
Little
many.
Billy can't talk to God. I need to because I'm a priest.
Yeah, there's only one way to talk to God.
You have to.
Yeah.
You need to go through me to understand how the divine feels about you.
Right, exactly.
Only me. Everyone else is a charlatan except for me.
And they really
1995 per read.
But they literally wiped out like this connection we had with the earth.
That's where that, if it's, like angel and demon, if like I've met people who they view any type of ghost haunting supernatural thing, it's demonic. It's the devil. The devil's doing it. It's demons. And it's like, well, but it's like, my grandma tucking me in when I had a really bad day in a shadow form because horrible things were happening and I needed comfort. True story. But yeah, no, that's not demonic. But we live in a society where people, like, religion does that. Religion makes everything evil.
Yeah.
If it's not what we agree and what the churches identify as, like, this is sanctioned and this is okay and this is holy and this is of God. Yeah. Everything else is demonic. It's like, but it's just like, it's a tree spirit. It's a tree. How is a tree spirit demonic? I don't get it. Whatever.
Watch, now we're going to encounter demonic tree spirits.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some pissed off tree spirits because what have we done to some of these forests? I mean, you go to the Amazon where they're just like clear-cutting acres. I'm pretty sure there's some pissed off tree spirit energy there.
We live in a world where people have not watched Fern Gully in a long time or ever watched it. And people need to watch Fern Gully.
I was not allowed to watch Ferngully as a child because that was liberal propaganda. I watched it as an adult as a form of rebellion.
What a rebellion it was. Barbara, though. Next question, please.
So Sanford said, Grandma tucking you in is Desir, female ancestors who've become guardians. Isla says, be an asshole to nature, and those old spirits will get feisty.
Absolutely.
Well, and like, I'm going to go back to the Bigfoot scene where, like, the Bigfoot name happened. That company was contracted to build a highway through the Humboldt National Forest. And they were going through untouched land. And so there would be Bigfoot sighting. Like, they wouldn't see Bigfoot. They would see these tracks in the mud in, like, these 50-gallon drums of oil tossed around, and machines would be messed up. Maybe they're just pissed off because you're cutting down their trees.
Yeah.
Sanford said, demon comes from daemon, which is a type of earth spirit among the Iberian Celts.
It has... I wonder how it got a negative connotation attached to it. Jeez, I wonder. We are running out of time, so I'm going to wrap it up with one last question.
Okay.
But we are going to do another part on this because I think there's still just, like, so much to talk about. And
I killed JFK.
I'm learning.
That was the question, right?
He's joking, people. He's joking.
I didn't. I wasn't even born.
Release the files.
Yes. All of them. Every file on everything.
All the files. Release them.
Isla says, let's not forget how much disposable things and chemicals you use.
Oh, I know.
Our industry is made, like, they could, this is so frustrating, they can make tires that last forever, but they make things so they fail. Like, the original Thomas Edison light bulb still works. Still works, but we make things to be disposable because if you sell them a light bulb, they'll last forever. They're not going to buy a new one.
Yeah.
So now we make things that have technology has expiration dates. They designed it that way so we can buy more. Yeah,
And
capitalism.
imagine this shift though in mindset though. So like back in the days, they made things to last because they needed it
Yeah.
to last. And so that's their mindset when you go into the day and your intent is, I'm going to make things last. My words have weight. They're going to last just the same way that I built this, plow or whatever. But nowadays we are born into this mindset of like, it's temporary. I don't have to put in a lot of
It's
effort.
disposable. You'll just
Yeah.
buy a new one. You'll
Yeah.
find a new thing. There's a new car. Hey, my car's 4 years old, so I should get a new one because there's like this new one that's shinier. And let's get that one.
Exactly.
But-
And it's a detriment to us personally and of course to the planet.
Yeah.
It's like intense. So
Plant
that's a
more
good
trees,
point.
people. Plant trees.
Plant trees. And yeah, that was a good point, Ayla. Thank you for bringing that up. So what I'm going to do one last question. We're going to have a part 2 on this, folks, so that we can carry on and get this squared away. I think it's such a great topic. I've never did a deep dive into this. So in heathenry, we often speak of thin places, spots where the veil between worlds feels lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Vinland could have been such a place for the Norse?
Yeah. There's one, when you get into like paranormal, metaphysical, supernatural, all that stuff, there's the ley line theory. And there are lines of energy that is like a grid matrix over the entire planet. And where the two lines intersect, DX, little wrestling reference, that's where you get like portals or like the term high strangeness happens. And these lines are, it's like Stonehenge supposedly is built on an intersection of lines. There's like the pyramids. I've never been able to find a fully detailed map of like where all the ley lines are, but a lot of these areas that they're high spirituality, like they have spiritual significance, or they are of, just a lot of weird things happen, is where ley lines intersect. Okay. And it's like the natural earth energies and spiritualism. Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. Like we live in California, and there's actually the Sierra Nevada Triangle. That's like below Tahoe. It's this area where just like things go missing, and like there's been plane crashes that they just never found. Yeah.
We're gonna have to go there.
Okay.
That's it. We're gonna go. Oh, which is also cool because starting up with ghost hunting.
Yeah, we're gonna be starting a little bit more ghost hunting.
Yeah,
a little heathen paranormal group.
We're doing a heathen paranormal group. It's gonna be so freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's inclusive.
Yes,
Night Watch Paranormal.
Coming to you.
Keep an eye out.
Yeah, 2026 early. Yeah. But that's definitely a place we should go.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a lot of fun. Unless we vanish.
Unless we go and look for it, and then we just become a mystery.
Don't worry, we will.
Hey, we'll be famous
in a new realm. We got some fresh ones, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're celebrities and not on the buffet table.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have my face on a T-shirt saying something dumb I said in my life. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We got through a lot. Yeah. And there's still like a lot. Yeah.
We've only touched the tip of the iceberg, people. Just the tip.
Just the tip.
Yeah. We can do probably a 2 part 3. I mean, it could be a mini series. I don't know how we want to do this.
We're gonna do it
because these rabbit holes go ways.
Yeah. And on future Meets in Midgard, you're going to be my co-host now. So.
Yes.
So on all the other Meets in Midgard,
unless everyone gets a petition signed by 500 people requesting that I don't be.
And
Plus, you have to pay me each person $500.
I am posting that petition online right now. I'm good. No, don't sign that petition. There is no petition.
Send complaints to whatever Max email.
Yeah, my email.
But it might be marked spam.
John, I learned a lot today. Like the overlapping of things, forest, the mindset of what a forest is and represents, and just picturing them coming into this new land, and you got this new like land spirits you've not encountered before. No lore of your own, no bones of your ancestors are there. Like how that must have felt to them, to a culture that is so deeply tied to land
and now you're on this new land, and you're like,
yeah.
Am I even in the same realm as my family?
Yeah.
Are these people the spirits of my ancestors?
I know. Maybe they thought they were in like some other realm of Valhalla or something. I don't know. Who knows? But that's so interesting to think about. Yeah. When we do that.
Is there any other questions?
Nope. I let the viewers know that if they have any questions for future episodes, they can email us at igbladier@gmail.com.
Yeah, let us know if there's any particular topics or questions in the paranormal heathenry realm that you want us to go and research and do deep dives, and we can do a video.
Yeah.
Talk craziness.
If you have something you want us to talk about, we will talk about it. And we'll try to anyway. So
we can ramble about whatever subject matter you want us to ramble about for an hour.
So for those of you that have seen this before, you know how much I can go on. So it gets worse when I'm around John.
We just feed off of each other in our craziness.
It's maddening.
But in all seriousness, I do take my heathenry, my faith seriously, and I take paranormal research and studying the paranormal very seriously. It's a lifelong passion of mine, and I will be doing both of these until I cross.
Mm-hmm. Yay. So thank you all so much. John, it was a pleasure having you here today, introducing you to a little bit more of my world and to my people out there. And it's going to be great to have you on this journey with me. So thank you.
Fun. It's going to be fun.
All right, everybody. We'll see you later.
Toodles.
Bye.